These are spooled up Christmas lights. I took the liberty of putting them on, or as I took the Christmas lights off last year, I spooled them on, and I essentially just have to unwind them real fast and I'll be done with one tree. They just keep on coming out. I can actually just unroll this spool, send it down in the room here or outside, and it'll give me a string of lights untangled. Now, that you think would be very easy and I'd get my job done fast. Versus this tangled mess of Christmas lights and Halloween lights, and I don't know what, this is a electrical wire that I think was cut for some, I don't know. But this will take me time to unravel. So when I saw this, I thought, ooh, this would be a great talk on fiber. The reason that we want to have fiber in the diet is because even if you have crappy food that you eat, as I talked about, you want to throw fiber into that. For example, diabetics, when you have a meal and the meal is pulverized or processed carbohydrate, as soon as that goes into the stomach and as soon as the digestive enzymes break down that solid matter, it becomes liquid, it gets absorbed, it goes straight to the bloodstream from the small intestine. And if you have that whole meal, that whole plate, go immediately into liquid and immediately into absorption, that's a lot of carbohydrate load into the bloodstream. And you would think it's healthy, but it's not. It's irritating to the lining of the blood vessels. So what does the body do? It secretes a lot of insulin to meet that carbohydrate load that just dashed into the blood vessels, and it puts them all, neutralizes the carbohydrate load with insulin. But unfortunately, insulin also continues to secrete and it bottoms out. And then after about an hour to 3 hours, because the insulin bottoms out, it makes you hungry, irritable, and you start searching for food again. So there starts that cycle of danger or problem. If you have fiber, and if you have fiber that holds, it's hard to digest fiber. It's slow to digest fiber, but when you throw fiber into your meal, say you have a whole plate and you top it off with a 3 teaspoon and 8 ounce cup of psyllium husk. That's just one type of fiber, but the other type of fiber that we can get in our diet is what Americans term roughage. It's not just salad, it's vegetables, it's legumes, it's nuts, it's beans. So there's a whole grain. There's a bunch of different things that you can call fiber or roughage, more so than salad. But if you throw that in and mix it into the stomach with your meal that you just ate, it actually keeps your whole meal, it's called the glycemic load, keeps your whole meal in the stomach, in the lumen of the small intestine, and does not allow it to get into the bloodstream that fast. It lets the carbohydrates that are broken down slowly, because the fiber ball is still in there, it allows the carbohydrates to leak out slowly, allows the protein to get digested smoothly, allows the fats to come out slowly, and that way the insulin that's made is just a little at a time. If there's just a little bit of insulin at a time, you don't crash. If there's just a little bit of carbohydrate, protein, and fat at a time, then the body knows where to put it. Your body's in harmony. You don't have to have that fight or flight. You can actually have or induce a fight or flight response just from eating bad food. I talked about having bad food after exercise and how it screws up with the muscle rebuilding process. I'll put a link to that talk. Well, it also happens if you have disease, if you have high blood pressure, if you're fighting hypertension or diabetes, or you have to problem solve and you're in a stressed out situation with kids or work. Well, you need those building blocks. You need cool, calm effects of food. You don't want to be worrying about food that is immediately straight into the bloodstream because it releases fast. You don't want that. You want slow. So that's why I always suggest fiber. Now, if you don't have any, I went to a few restaurants, ethnic restaurants, and Thai food, Chinese food, Vietnamese food, Filipino food. We have a lot of Indian food. There's a lot of great vegetable dishes. In the typical American diet, the only thing that people think about is really salad, and salad is cold. It's not fun all the time, and there's only so much you can do with salad, and only so many flavors you can create with your salad or on top of your salad. So I think if you try to experiment, you'll see there's some great ethnic foods that have high fiber, that are warming, and that will slow down that overall absorption of all the macronutrients into your bloodstream. You'll also have a sense of satiety. That's the other thing the fiber does, is because it stays in your gut longer, it's slower to digest. It's slow to digest this stuff, just like me taking this apart. It take me forever to take these things apart versus the spool, but that's what you want with your food. You want that big bolus of food, that meal that you just ate, to slowly leak out into the bloodstream. That way the pancreas can handle it, the body can divvy up where the packets of carbohydrates go, where the proteins go. You'll have faster recovery time as far as exercise. You'll have better processing, emotional stability, because you don't have to secrete a big windfall of insulin and then deal with the insulin dumping later. So that's the reason why fiber is so important. Number one, it's because, just to review this stuff, number one, it helps pull cholesterol out of your body into the toilet. Number two, it helps give a home for probiotic. If you're just taking a probiotic, you're not doing enough fiber, you're going to eat the lining. You're going to have those probiotics eat the lining of your small intestine, stomach, colon. So that gets irritating. You want to have a thick mucus lining, and that's where the soluble and insoluble fiber comes in handy. And you have to have a broad base of different fibers from all those different types of fibers that I mentioned. If you're just starting this and you're not used to experimenting, or you're still in the experimenting phase of trying to find different dishes from different ethnicities that have high vegetable and fruit and whole grain and legumes and beans, then fine. Work, experiment, have a goal, an endpoint to when you want to try. You want to try this month to try Italian, Mediterranean food. The next month to try Asian food. Next month after that. So if you already have a goal but you're still experimenting, just try to supplement with psyllium. I like Organic India. It's GMO, it's non-GMO, it's organic, and it's also gluten-free. So that's an option, but that's only one type of fiber, mind you. You need several different fibers. And the one other good thing with that type is with 4 grams of fiber that come in the 3 teaspoons, you only have 4 grams of carbohydrate too, so you don't overwhelm your body with a large fiber amount in addition to a large caloric and carbohydrate amount. You don't want to do that. You'll gain weight from it. So you want to pick and choose your fiber sources. And finally, again, fiber gives you a sense of satiety because it stays in the gut longer. There's a saying in Okinawa called Hari Hachibu for Japan, and it's to stop your meal when you're 7/10 full, because it takes about 20 minutes for the stomach, it takes about 20 minutes for the fat cells to register to the brain that you're full. If you keep on going when you're still, if you eat a lot very fast and mindlessly, then you might take in more and more food before that signal gets to the brain. You took in 20 more minutes of volume and you'll be stuffed, and you're going to pay for that later on. Either you're going to have reflux or your hormones are going to crash later on. So there's a way to say in Japanese or Okinawan, Hari Hachibu, you stop and you wait and you push away from the table. Well, that's where fiber comes in handy. It gives you a sense of satiety, so you might actually get the signals from your stomach that you're full.